When I arrived in Liberia, the Civil War had ended and the peace agreement had been signed. And fortunately, an election had just been held, and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was elected as the first woman president in an African country. The UN mission had been there as peacekeeping mission, but when I arrived, it was a unique opportunity. National authority had finally been elected, democratic government was in place, and the UN mission and country team actually had an opportunity to shift from a kind of emphasis on delivery of humanitarian assistance, of kind of active dealing with warlords, to an opportunity to begin looking much more holistically at development. That meant that it was time for the UN mission and the country team to come together much more in joint operations, looking at how they could collaborate together. Not integration for integration's sake, but how do you make the UN more effective? How do you make sure that the UN entities in country are working together? And that was our slogan in Liberia, at work together. As the DSRSG, the Deputy Special Representative, that was both the RC and the HC, the triple hat, the big sombrero, as we like to call it. It was an opportunity for me with an office in the mission and an office as humanitarian coordinator and resident coordinator to actually try to bring the system and way together. It was a unique opportunity to understand deeply the mission with its strengths, civil affairs officer in all 15 counties, a police and military presence throughout the country, and at the same time a UN country team that it was a classic UN country team in the sense that it had development agencies, humanitarian agencies, agencies like UNICEF that have a special mandate to look at children, but a unique opportunity to find ways of looking at the problems of Liberia and finding out how the UN together could help provide solutions. We had opportunities, for example, when in some of the most remote areas, WHO, UNICEF knew that vaccines were needed. Well, we found ways of using the military strength to be able to get our country team out to some of the most remote places so that life-saving vaccines could be administered. We also had opportunities to really find ways of where the knowledge of mission, the civil affairs officers could share their knowledge with those that were providing development assistance so that programs could be tailored to the actual needs of the local population. One of our most innovative programs was what we called the county support teams. It was an opportunity to bring mission and country team together, focused in the 15 counties of Liberia. These counties, distant from the capital of Monrovia, very difficult at times to get to, roads almost non-existent, totally destroyed by war, lack of any national authority, knew that they needed to rebuild, in a sense, from the ground up, the opportunity to have, in a sense, government present and deliver it. There were places that we would go to where there were no buildings for like county authorities. They would be meeting under a tree. No electricity, no building. What the UN did was to begin bringing all of its strengths together, whether it was those parts of the UN that knew how to construct buildings, those parts of the UN that actually could help local authorities develop their skills of governing, others that would be able to deliver assistance like health or education to build up the capacity locally. And these county support teams basically were an opportunity to bring the mission and the UN country team together. Mission had offices there. Often the UN country team, located in Monrovia, the capital, didn't have the physical presence. So basically drawing on all of the strengths of the UN to provide hope, to provide help, to provide support to the people of Liberia who had been so devastated by conflict and needed a UN that was at work together, as opposed to little separate agencies, each doing their little thing. Why not have a UN that really focuses on the problems, really brings the strengths of all of the agencies, the missions, the funds, the programs together to provide what's needed to people that so desperately need help?